Hello, everyone. It's the Eorzean update, and I'm your host, Violet Cathdraig, and I am here with the lovely,
Houka Oza with pop.
and
No,
we're gonna be
with not in Ruby Red recently. Not in Ruby Red. I've been
no,
in.
with lovely hot pink.
I've been hot pink lately.
Oh yeah, the glam update for 7.4 hit on December 16th, and it has basically taken the entire game by storm. Like, I have spent more time in my glam chest doing glam stuff. It has been awesome. We're sitting here in 2026. We are living good. Our Christmas present from Yoshi P was for the game to get even more customization options. The drop of 7.4 on December 16th, I can go into detail, and I will, but I'm gonna give an overall score of like it's a 11 out of 10 for me. It's so good.
This is, I will say, out of all the post MSQ content or whatnot, this is by far one of my favorites. I agree. It's it's beyond a 10. I can't really go like 11, 12. It's by far one of my favorites.
It's
When
so
with
good.
It's so good with the addition of the new like just the music by itself. I'm not even talking about the fights. I'm just talking about
Oh,
the
they
music
could
by
have just
itself.
yeah. I mean, honestly, they could have given us less exciting fights and that music, and I still would be like,
I, it
yes,
it was so good.
yes.
With the MSQ being the way it is, and
Oh
just
yeah.
it's so by far one of my
Oh,
favorite post MSQ content. With everything, including like the new PvP maps, and it's so good.
so we're gonna let them in on like your. So I, of course, am one of these crazy people who like the minute that the MSQ drops, I'm on that. I'm on it. So I'd already finished by the time that Houka had a chance to actually like get into it. So I'm playing, I'm doing my Arcadian stuff, and the next thing you know, I get a message that is like, really? It's
Well,
great.
okay, so I that week, all I wanted to do was to just let me get through the raid series. I'll tackle
Right,
MSQ when I got back from my vacation,
right,
because
right.
which I had a great time. Spent time with
Awesome,
my
I'm
family
so
and all that.
glad, yeah.
But
My
like,
my holiday season in the void was absolutely terrible, so let's move on. Uh,
but when I got back, I'm like, I know everyone has probably gone through MSQ and whatnot. I'm like, okay,
right.
I'm gonna savor this as much as I can. And as I'm going through this, I'm like, what? What's
Yeah,
going on?
no
No,
details, we're not gonna get into
I'm not
details,
going into
but, oh my
details,
god,
but like,
it's
but yeah,
so good.
I'm sitting here going like, this story is so good.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
just the fact that they integrated Final Fantasy IX so well into this MSQ was
It is a lovely, like, Final Fantasy XIV, if you are a Final Fantasy fan, this is, like,
like
the
me.
most cameo, walk-on, lovely game because you just get to have all of the, like, experience and get to kinda notice stuff. I, on the other hand, am not I'm just now going back and enjoying, like, other Final Fantasy games. I've played 16, which I liked, it was okay. But I have to find that honestly, I was never a turn-based, like, uh, JRPG fan, and I'm struggling with Final Fantasy 1, because, like, the story is actually very good. I understand where people picked up on it, and they got, like, into it,
Yeah.
and I've played 7 a bit, and I've seen others like, I get it, I just it never clicked in my little ADHD like gremlin brain. Like, but 14, I get it. Like, you put all that stuff in a pot, I'm down.
So okay, so talking about some of the older ones, maybe not like the original Final Fantasy VII, but I think you might enjoy like the remake because
Yeah,
it's
I've watched my wife playing it. Yeah.
like the battle system is a lot more interactive than
Yeah.
just the turn based or whatnot. I mean, it's not quite like, well, I mean, it's similar to 16, but not quite like that heavy into the combat system and whatnot.
Okay. I mean, I've as soon as my wife lets it loose, like I'll go play it. But honestly, I just spend so much time playing this game. I don't really have a lot of time
I
playing
mean,
anything else.
I still have to play other
Uh,
games too, and I'm sitting here like just like staring at just staring into the void in 14 because I'm just logged in.
I mean, it's where all my friends live.
Yeah.
But okay, so of particular note for me, the things that let's talk about the things that like really we enjoyed most. All right. So I'm gonna ask you first since you've got a little bit fresher in your mind. I experienced all of it. Like I jumped right in and swam around in it the minute that it dropped. You were on vacation. So when you came back, like what things struck you like have been your favorite?
Aside from MSQ, um, or are we talking about like just overall?
Well, I mean, just like we can't talk about MSQ
No,
for obvious reasons,
no,
but what other things other than MSQ? Like you came in, you saw 7.4, it dropped in all of its glory. Like what parts did you go, "Oh, this is so new and I love it."
the new PvP map. I enjoyed that a lot. I think the new PvP map for me, it takes a little bit more
Oh yeah, I love that so
strategy,
much.
a little bit more strategy on trying to
Yeah,
move as a group and try to capture the point as opposed to, you have this open area and whatnot. But in
it's
my view, like it's like you can't just have like a small group and try to like or split between like two main groups, or like one goes this way, one other group this go this way.
right.
Like you have to like battle in a group or else you're pretty much gone at that point.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I found a lot. I loved it. It was a lot of fun. And if you found a group of people who like understood that this was probably like the one map where they really did design it around everybody's in an alliance
Yeah.
and you're supposed to stay in the alliance to go take points, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or shield points or whatever. And then it was so fun and it was great. But then you would have those times when I went in, like the first 5 times I went into the new map, it was with people who still hadn't completely grasped the new strategies.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were trying to use like frontline shatter like strategies on it.
Oh.
And was it was bad. It was not a good time.
And I want to give out a shout out to Arcana real quick for getting the already PvP mount that dropped.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Uh,
honestly, all the kudos to Arcana, like, Arcana threw down on that new map and just, like, completely annihilated. So awesome. So what else we had so many changes, like, there uh, have you done much with the strategy board, for instance?
I mean, not much about actually trying to use it or whatnot, but I got a meme out of it though.
It's like, "Welcome to Final Fantasy XIV. We got an incredibly useful tool for rating.
But here's a
How do
Rick
we
Ashley
actually
meme.
use it?" Memes. Memes. It's all memes. It's all
Yeah,
memes all the time.
I think it's like I joined the group and all of a sudden I got a strategy board and it was the Rick Ashley never never give you up.
Oh my god, Rick
Meme, and
rolled
I'm like,
straight
and
up.
I'm like, are you kidding me right now? I was
Okay,
I couldn't focus on the fight because I was laughing so hard, and
I know. The only thing I hate about it is that like you'll share a strategy board, right? And the only time I had a set of strategy board shared with me that was actually useful, was when I went into a crystalline conflict,
uh-huh.
PvP. And here's okay, so I'm gonna express a little bit of anger about the strategy boards. Okay, it drives me nuts. All right. So get this. So the strategy board pops up. You're trying to read through the strategy board. The gate opens up. You have to go do the PvP while the strategy board is now up on your screen.
Oh
So you're trying to
no.
click out of that. And then the little notification for it just stays on your screen the entire time. And if you're on controller, it keeps wanting to click on it. It's
Oh
so
no.
frustrating.
That's not cool.
Oh, I mean, but other than that one incident, it was so bad too because the person who shared it genuinely was trying to give, like, here's the strategies for this board, here's how to deal with the PvP, here's how we just need one person on the crystal and we need everybody else to protect and blah 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 blah. And it was so useful. Nobody paid attention to it. I think people like purposefully went, how dare you try to teach me things? How dare and did the exact opposite.
But
And
but but I'm trying to
yeah,
get you to scoot over like 2 pixels to the left. That's all I want you to do.
it was so bad. And so that was the only useful strategy board I've gotten. I now have a backlog of somewhere around like 15 memes
Oh,
from going into raids and getting strategy boards. So
oh boy. Um,
let's just say, okay, so anybody who's familiar with game development will know a little term called TTP. It is time to penis. Time to penis. And so if you and 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 I hate that this is a real thing, but it is. So every single time that a game developer puts something in the game in which people have the ability to creatively like interact or create something artistically with the game, they have to be aware that there will be a TTP. Like there's and what they have to also kind of be aware of is how are we going to like keep this so that it's not something that forces this on other people, right?
yeah.
Strategy boards are great. I have seen entirely too many strategy board weenuses. I don't want to see them anymore.
How dare you give me the eggplant?
I know, right? I'm just done. So
Uh,
done. Too
is this like
many,
the
yo.
is this like the new version of like I'm gonna send you my quote unquote like dick pic?
You know what? If it weren't for the fact that it's something that okay, here's the part that they don't mention is that apparently if you share a strategy board, you can't see what you shared. It doesn't pop up on your screen. It pops up on everybody else's, though.
Oh boy.
Everybody else gets to see the thing that you shared. And if you accidentally shared your private meme from your friends to an entire group of strangers on the internet, let's just say this has been an interesting experience. Um but leave it to a bunch of gamers to take an incredibly useful tool and turn it into something that's only useful for tools. Um
Tools for tools.
right. Okay. But and here's the thing I have to say is that put aside the thing is actually incredibly powerful. It's really well done. The strategy board is actually something that, as a person who is I guess a casual raider, would see as very, very useful. It does not have the limitations I was afraid that it was going to have, because while you are limited to 50 boards and the sharing is not, it is kind of awkward. uh it's still like, for that board you have as many slides as you need to explain all the mechanics for the fight. So it's honestly, it's great. Honestly, it's great.
No, I want to mess around with it some more. Hopefully, um, down be able to get some of the like savages and mess around with
Mhm.
it and see what it's all about and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to playing with it some more. Um,
Yeah.
along the line, was it the command panel? I need to mess around with that too.
Yeah, okay, so I saw the command panel and I hopped on that, like, immediately, because, like, I am kind of, like, I understand that anybody's gonna look at my UI, and I have had a lot of criticism over the time. I don't really care. It's my UI. You don't have to play with it. So I have but I'm ADHD, like, I am an ADHD gremlin of gremlininess, so I have to have a lot of things, like, where I can see it or I will forget that it
Yeah,
exists. Um, but I don't like having, like, I've been struggling with trying to find different ways to, like, have collapsible. I don't like the standard collapsible menu thing. I didn't like the macro setup for it. It was hyper complicated. It required a bunch of setup, and I was just like, I don't want to spend 6 hours having to figure all this. I just want to be able to put the things that I need where I need them, and use it that way. And it's not as though they haven't given us enough, like, UI manipulation capability, but the command panel solves a problem that, quite frankly, I had been having for a while, which was the collapsible, like, macro setups still meant that you had to have a button set up for the macro, and you still had to have, like, you had to spend tons of time messing around with the UI to put things in certain places. And having these 425, panels means that I can get all of my jobs on one, plus any, like, accessory buttons that I need. The fact that it's easily maneuverable with a controller, because I'm a hybrid controller keyboard player, is incredible. Honestly, I just love the damn thing. I have two, or at least one whole page that I haven't even set up yet, and it's still, like, I've been able to remove 3 hotbars from my UI, and it's been great.
nice. I need to mess around with that because yeah, I like I don't know why people criticize people hot bars to begin with, but like I need to see everything, like all the button needs to laid out in front of me. Like I know where everything is at. I have it like really similar from one job to another. Like all my tankings, they're all laid out pretty much the same way as
Yeah.
all all that.
Oh,
Um
yeah. Same, same,
so
same,
so
same.
so
Yeah.
like so that way when I go from one tank to another, it feels comfortable. I know where it is at. I want to
Right.
mess around with this so that I can possibly add like clear up some window space, because I have like all the jobs in like two hot bar areas, and then I have all my emotes, and then I have like some other stuff on the side. I'm like, okay, I need to figure that out so that way I can clean it up a little bit. So
Well, the thing I like more about it more than anything is that right now, to get to, like, emotes and stuff like that, I have it on my, I use cross hotbar. So I have it on, like, I think it's like hotbar 4 and 5 of my cross hotbar. But on controller, the way that you have to get to your cross hotbar can be really awkward. Because of course it's like you hold this button and then you press this thing and then you get there and then you have to like, pull your triggers and da 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 da. And sometimes I just want to be able to um just be able to open something up and maneuver because it's I don't know, it just feels like it's laid out in such a way that it's easier to get to for your lesser used stuff
Hmm.
or for jobs or for like timers and things like that. All of the stuff that I used to have like buried in my macro hotbars, I can now just put on the command panel. And because it has a button that goes directly to that page, it's so much easier than having to have all these macros set up. Also, as someone who does a lot of like crafting and gathering and has like a bunch of like like I have a ton of macros. Like I was running out of macro space.
Oh, jeez.
so so to have to finally be able to clear out some of my macros was really nice.
That's awesome.
So
Uh,
yeah, and then I mean, I haven't played around with the new colors or anything of the UI because I am a dark UI lover. Me and my weak void loving eyes. I'm just make it dark. I don't care. Um so I don't know if that's something that you played around with or cared about, but it's kind of cool that they are giving like customization seems to be the watchword of what they're working towards with 14 right now, which I'm totally into.
I'm all for it
Speak,
as well.
speaking of which, so how many new outfits have you made?
One?
One. Oh
No,
my
I
god.
I I have I okay, I made my magical girl glam,
Mhm.
and that's the extent of all that I cared about at this point. So no,
Okay.
I know I plan on making more. I just need to sit down and just look at what I have and see what I can come up with and everything. But yeah, I made my magical girl glam, and now I have it on my
You finally
Maryland.
have the weapon to go with your magical girlness. Yes, I love
Yes.
it. Which is now why Houka is no longer about that ruby red. She's all up in that hot pink.
The hot
Um,
pink. I okay, I would go to a major city and just sit there for a little bit. Like
uh-huh.
I'll go AFK and I'll come back to a message say, I love your glam.
It's so good. I will admit. I mean, if you were just gonna spend the time on one glam, you did a good job.
Oh, thank you.
Um, but like I of course have become completely obsessed, and I now spend hours and hours and hours trying on all menus. I have like there there's so many like little hidden things that kind of like get dropped in. Just the idea that I can go through my glam chest now and literally just try on anything and make it work for whatever job I want. Like I have very weird job ideas because I'm not limited by the previous Final Fantasies or anything like that. So for me, a lot of my influences and things that I pull in for different jobs and how I think of them is not based necessarily in Final Fantasy. It's based in things like D&D or
Yeah.
even Discworld or like a bunch of other different influences that may not be directly related to Final Fantasy at all. So for me, Dark Knight, I've always thought of as like caster tank. And one of the things that I have always been very like, I don't love the fact that every single Dark Knight set has always been extremely like metal armor heavy. And I get why they were doing that because the only other metal, like, classic armor heavy tank we had was Paladin.
Hmm.
And so having like the dark version of that kind of made sense in an aesthetic way. But to me, I mean, I have to use my MP a lot. That's magic points. That's what
Yeah.
MP stands for. So therefore, my Dark Knight should be dressed as a caster. Like they should be full on. I have a giant sword and I cast magic. So having the ability to now put caster gear or even like black mage gear and some of the stuff that kind of references that on my Dark Knight as a tank has been incredible. So good. I love it. So yeah, the glamour drop, quite frankly. I mean, that and the music for the Arcadian, they could have done those two things and I would be singing praises and I would be losing my mind. But they
Oh,
gave us so much more. The new, yeah, like you were saying, the new PvP is so much fun. But and I love the new command panel. I know I really have enjoyed a lot of the UI updates, the all that. Okay, so we've built up to it too much. I think we need to talk about the Arcadian.
oh yes, please, because that the I'm so happy. Well, okay, so I'm happy how it ended. My my one wish didn't come true, which I'm not disappointed. I'm not disappointed. I wish they would have implemented them somehow, but I love each one of the fights, and I love how the moment that that you were in Arcania, you messaged me going, "I didn't know you gaslight as a fighter."
I know, right?
Or I mean, I'm not gaslight. I mean, you moonlight as
uh,
a fighter. I'm
Moonlight
like,
is.
I was like, what?
I didn't know Houka was moonlighting in the Arcadian. Go do it. You'll find out what I mean. If you but yeah, it's that fight is so good. I don't want to spoil anything about the story, so we're not going to do that, but we are
No,
going to talk about in some generalities about it. First of all, the music.
so good. They did a great job with this series alone. From
Houka, Houka, sweetheart, I'm so sorry. You're underselling it. It's amazing. It's absolutely insane. I love it so much. Like, oh my god, I have been playing these songs on repeat, on repeat, on repeat, on repeat. It is so good. Oh my god. Okay. Okay, I think I have all of my stuff again. I'm sorry.
catch your
Whew.
breath. Catch your
Oh,
breath. Ooh, remember.
okay. It is I'm like I was of course they dropped like the like hint for the music and the live letter went on about like Tom Morello and Beartooth and like we were gonna get heavy like rock and it was gonna be so good and I am a huge Rage Against the Machine fan and I'm big into that entire like genre of music like I listen to it and all the time and then I was like, surely the rest of these songs are going to be okay in like I underestimated Soken and I'm so sorry, Soken-san. I take it all back. I absolutely completely bow down to the master. It is so good. If you get a chance to try and like look it up on your like streaming service of choice for music, or YouTube or whatever. Oh my god, please do it. It's so
I
good.
know, right? Uh we need to get Tom and Heather get all caught up with the Arcadia stuff just so they experience it because we need to do this before FanFest because I'm afraid they're gonna be playing the songs and they don't know where it's coming from. And so
Oh, I know.
we need to get them caught up somehow.
I know. I really wish. And the normal fight, don't get me wrong, the normal fights are tricky. They've got some really interesting mechanics, but the music is so good and they were really fun to figure out. And I mean, one of the things I love about it is that we've had more time between a normal raid drop and a savage raid drop than we've ever had before, which should mean that we had tons of time for people to like latch on and like get into it and learn how to do it. And don't get me wrong, like I've been going nuts on them. Like I've been doing the normal fights like crazy.
Yeah.
way more than I normally would. Uh, to the point where I forget whether or not I actually can roll on gear or not because I've done it so much that I'm like, wait, have I done it for this week? Has there been a Tuesday? There was a Tuesday. So, um, but it's just because I'm also gonna get involved with a new group that's doing on content savages, hopefully coming up near the end of the month, beginning of February. Um, because I've never done on level savages, and I'm very, very excited about doing this. And I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. Shout out to Marky for putting it together as usual.
Nice.
Um, we will see if we can get everybody together to do the thing. Right now we're still looking for people. So, hit up Marky. He just got home from his vacation. So if you're in the HJP group and you are interested in doing some on level savages, uh hit up Marky. Um or just go post something in the raid group and ask questions. We're always down for that. But yeah, okay. So the first one, um I the fact that it incorporated a lot of mechanics that we've seen before. Like there was even a throwback to a mechanic from an Alexander raid in there. Was so good. Um but the DPS check in the beginning, the fact that that's still catching people, woo! I mean, that is it. That is one of those measures of a really great mechanic, a really great setup. Um, and then the second fight, the music is great. It's very surfer rock, Blink
Yeah, I was about
182,
to say Blink.
very yeah, very Blink, very 2000s, very, very into it. I loved it. It was a lot of fun. The mechanics in that one are also like that one is it's positioning. It is
Oh,
100% top to bottom, just positioning, positioning, positioning.
I
Which
can't imagine a Savage in that one. Oh, jeez.
oh, it's gonna I can't wait to try it. I can't wait to try it. I haven't even seen the Savage fights yet because I've been busy with, of course, like real life. Like people do that crap.
Right?
Um
We touch grass? What? What is this?
I've had to touch so much grass in the last week. I think I'm allergic to grass now. Um I don't like it.
I mean, we
It
don't have grass
sucks. I
currently
don't
right now.
like
We have
it.
snow.
It sucks. We've had nothing but grass. I wanna hey, stop. But and then we get into oh my so they confirmed, by the way, for anybody who has done the storyline and got to see it, the tyrant has a vehicle that's the third fight in the series that came out. He has a vehicle that's very unique to him. It is very reminiscent of a classic muscle car. It is gorgeous.
I
I
want it.
mean, it's so beautiful.
I want it so
Oh,
badly.
I want it to okay. So yeah, that's been confirmed as the mount that you get out of 12. So there's that. And then let's see. And then of course the last fight where you have everything burns playing on loop repeat. And I'm gonna be honest with you, Tom Morello, like one of the things that the man has gotten really good at, like that song plays on repeat, and it's only a 3-minute song.
Yeah.
And the fight lasts for 8 minutes. So you get to hear that song repeat at least 3 times. And
Pending whether or
it
not
never
you wipe it or
stops being
not.
good. It never stops being good. It's just
It
good
does
all the
not.
way through.
There's like okay, so like there are certain in this entire raid series, all right, there's certain songs that I don't mind, Generally, when I play the game, I have like my background music turned off because I'm watching a streamer or I'm watching a video or
Right.
something in the background and stuff like that. So, but like whenever these these latest four pop up, I mute whatever I'm watching, hitting pause, and I'm turning my background music on, and I'm turning it up just a little bit, just so I can hear the music and stuff.
I
So,
literally have a macro just for this raid series that back in when it first dropped, as soon as the raid series came out and the music was so good from the very beginning, I literally set up a macro so that because I can't play with background music off, but I usually have it so low because honestly for me, I'm very sound sensitive.
mhm.
So I play with most of my sounds very low.
Okay,
But, when I'm going into certain raids that have audio cues, I have, like, certain setups that I have macros for that I will use, like, I have a raid macro for my raid sounds, and then I have, like, so when I do fill in for uwu or I fill in for whatever, and you have to listen for the screams or you have to listen for different audio cues, I have that set up. But for this, for the first time ever, my background sounds like the only other thing that has gotten me to turn my background music above 20 was the 20. When I go into the
yeah.
20, don't try to talk to me. It's at 50. And 50% is normally very high for me. Like I don't even try to talk to me. I'm good. But for this, 100%. Like, don't try to do call outs for me. I don't need your call outs. I'm just here for the song. And I've got my entire rhythm of how to deal with these mechanics straight in. It's so good. Um I'm gonna be such a menace. No. I'll turn it down. But still, it's just like it's just been so good, especially when I go in by myself for practice or whatever. It's so fun.
Oh, it's so good.
Um, I did the PvP a little bit. I enjoyed it, but like I said, I had some had some bad experiences with people that no matter what people tried to convince, like, please stay in alliance because then like you can actually have your spells work together and then and yeah, nobody was listening. Nobody was looking at chat. They were all just like, free for all, let's go.
Yeah.
Murder, death, kill. um, and then as far as like, oh gosh, and then we're gonna talk about like, okay, small things that have come out that I'm sorry, but they just make my little heart happy. The new uh Air Force One for the Cielo days, I love it so much.
It's so
It's so
good.
fun. It's so fun. It's such a silly little like, arcade shooter thing, but it's so fun just to see something different. And they actually came out with, and here's the part that there's two of them. They did the same thing they did for the old Air Force One. There's not just one version, there's two versions.
I must have just gotten the one version then because I'm not seeing the second one.
Well, it's all in how they're the there's the shooting gallery part where
Yeah.
you sit in one place. One of those is in the is in a cave where you have like a bunch of ghosts and
Yeah.
everything. And then the other one is actually if I remember correctly, it's like on a ship or it's just like yeah, so it's like on another pirate ship. And so it's like a different setup. But yeah, it's fun. I like it.
All
I
right.
had a lot of fun with that.
Okay, so I've only gotten the one in the cave, not on the ship. Okay. So that's good. That's
Okay.
good to know.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and it actually has like a slightly different fly-in. Now, again, this could be me hallucinating. You never know. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm not AI, but nobody can prove anything anymore. That's the world we live in. Deal with it. Uh, but I seem to remember there being some differences. But the other stuff that's dropped, I have not. Okay, so full confession time. I I have not done the Occult Crescent stuff.
Neither have
I've
I.
been I've been bad and I didn't want to do it, so I
N-
didn't.
don't
And I
worry because
know
I
that
don't want to do
Kay's
it
gonna
either.
be mad at me,
No one's
and
gonna be
I
mad
just
at
didn't.
you.
Oh, I know. I didn't want to do it alone, and then on top of it, I just didn't. I just didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it. I enjoyed Occult Crescent for a little while, and then honestly, it fell off for me. And I know that there are a lot of people who still enjoy it, and good for them. But the exploratory zones have always been a bit weird for me, anyway. Like, I'm even struggling with cosmic exploration. Like, it's good, and to be fair, it's really interesting, and I can tolerate it better than um than Occult Crescent. But Occult Crescent's one of those things where I absolutely do not want to do it on my own. And I absolutely do not want to do it with less than 6 or 7 people at least,
At
right?
least, yeah.
Um and even then it's a struggle because of the way that things are. It's weird. I think the reason why I have a struggle with some of these zones is because they are both very, very have a party, like get in a party, be in a party, right? But if you are in a party, understand that everything is going to be harder. Everything is going to be so much harder because you're in a party. But if you're alone, it's also almost impossibly hard. So it's like the being in a party is more about the synergy of powers, which can be very interesting, I guess, but it's also exhausting after a while,
Yeah.
right?
It can be.
Because you get very used to, at least for the rest of the game, that being in a party means that not only do you have skills that you can rely on each other, and you can kind of lean on each other's abilities or whatever, but you also, the difficulty tends to go down just a little bit because you have more people involved and more people can take everything on. Whereas when you are solo, it's harder because all the DPS is on you, all the healing's on you, all the everything's on you, right?
And that's why I go in as a warrior.
Right? Yeah, and don't get
That
me
is
wrong, I'm a warrior main, so of course I go in as a warrior, but even as a warrior solo, it's frustrating.
it is frustrating.
Um I have yet I've seen on the now other things. They made some changes to the to Occult Crescent because they added the jewelry. I've seen it on the market board. That's the part that's confusing to me. Apparently the jewelry that comes out of Occult Crescent can be traded on the market board.
Wait, what?
What? What? Yeah, trust me, I also have a confused. But at the same, okay, but the item level for it is about the same as what you would get from item level for gear that you can find outside of Occult Crescent.
Huh.
So I'll be honest with you. I'm gonna feign I'm total ignorance on that one. I don't know what's going on with it. All I have done is I've just seen things being traded on the market board, which I thought was an interesting change, I guess. But I'm waiting until 7.41 to officially drop, which should be somewhere near either the end of this month, beginning of next month, which is end of January, beginning of February. For them to figure out, for me to figure out whether or not it's something that I actually want to deal with, because of course that's when the next relics come up. And me being me, crackpot insane, I actually have all of the relics currently up to the top level that you can get them at. I don't love all of the models, but some of them I am deeply in love with. Deeply in love with.
Well,
A
lucky
lot of
you.
the tank weapons are beautiful. The red mage weapon is amazing. The
and I'm
white mage
still
weapon is so good.
and I'm still sitting over here trying to collect some crystals
I know. Oh my
that
goodness. Yeah, the
that
number of
rarely
people who are
drops.
still at the Demi Atma phase is it's wild because it's like I don't know. The drop rate on that is just crazy talk. Like, why can't the drop rate be closer to like 30%? It would be one thing if it was like for out of 10 mobs, right?
Hmm.
If out of every 10 mobs you at least got 1 to 2 pieces, that would be one thing, right? But it's out of 10 mobs, you have a chance at maybe having one drop, maybe,
Yeah.
perhaps. So the only advantage at this point to the exploratory zones for me is that at the very least, they are not locked to your server. So if you find the server that you're on, the one we're on, tends to have fewer people, and therefore you can't get like critical engagements or fates to pop as often as you need to have as many opportunities to get the highest drop rate, because the highest drop rate has been proven to be in Occult Crescent. Even though I've seen a lot of people have a lot of success with doing the fates out of Occult Crescent to get them to drop. It's just that it takes longer, and it can be something that it's a very definite like two monitor situation, like you or like a TV and a phone or something. I don't know, it's not a you can keep your brain on it, because it's just hopping to from the same fate to the same to the same like series of fates over and over and over again until you get it to drop.
Now, so quick question though. So like
Hmm.
it's because I've been trying to do it via fates and whatnot.
Right.
So if I go in there, is it I can get it like off a random mob and not like the events that's been going on, or is it just the
No,
events?
it has to be a fate. It has to be a fate. Yeah, yeah, it's not that level of grind. It's not the level of grind where you just like pick a corner and just murder your way across the board, hoping for the needle to drop out of the haystack. No, it is you have to specifically travel from fate to fate to fate to fate to fate to fate to fate, which does mean, on the bright side, does mean that if you are someone who does not have all of your fates completed, because of course there's an achievement that unlocks a new vendor and a lot of other special items if you complete a certain number of fates. I think it's 60 fates total or something like that.
Uh huh.
Um per zone in an expansion. Um then you get a new bicolor gemstone vendor gets unlocked in the main cities, which for this one would be Solution 9 and Tuliolal. And they have specific items that are only available if you've completed. So there is, in fact, a reason to do it. And then, of course, every zone that you finish all of the fates, you get not only an achievement if you care about those things, but you also, the vendor for bicolor gemstones winds up having new items like minions and sometimes housing items and things like that that you can open up. So there
But
is a
mom, I don't
secondary
want
benefit.
to. I
I
don't want
know.
to.
It's an MMO. We grind up in here, okay?
I'll grind. I'll grind for other things, but you at least bump up the percentage a little bit, please. Like, can we do that? Because like I'll spend like an hour or two in there, and like not a single gem will drop, and that's where my frustration lies. Whereas like, okay, I'm putting in all this work, grinding away, and all that stuff, and not a single one will drop, and that's where my patient level just sinks
Okay.
down to zero.
So so here's where I totally understand your frustration. And okay, so here's where we have the difficulty of it. So I'm just gonna break the whole thing down. In Occult Crescent, if you're in the exploratory zone and you do fates and uh well, specifically critical engagements and fates in Occult Crescent have between, I think it's a 15% and a 20% drop rate of your demiatma. Okay.
Hmm.
If you are in overworld fates, which are the fates that you find in the zones outside of Occult Crescent and all the other areas of Dawn Trail, you only have a 5% chance.
Yeah.
Now, granted, there are more fates that you can hit in the overworld than you can in the Occult Crescent, because Occult Crescent, the fates pop automatically, but they have a lower drop rate than the critical engagements. But critical engagements require you to actually kill a certain number of mobs to be able to activate the critical engagement. So, um, the other thing is that the colors that you need to get, because there are 6 different colors that you have to get, they're also split into zones. And the way that the mobs are distributed across the map for Occult Crescent means that there are certain mobs that are just easier to get to and less dangerous to attack. And so, therefore, they are attacked more often. So, you just have certain areas that wind up having critical engagements pop more often. And of course, the fates, because they have a, they also pop on their own timed basis, but that timed basis is based on the amount of people who are in the zone. So it's like everything has a weird downside. Whereas it's a frustrating like grind on the overworld, but the fates don't require you to actually spawn them at all. And you can you just wind up taking the time and you grind it out and you just sit there and go over and over and over again, unless you're like me and you happen to find someone who is blessed by the Yoshi P. I'm not naming names, 8-bit Cerberus, but we decided when I was finally down to, I'd done 50 hours in a week. That is 50 hours of playing a video game to get demi-atmas. And I was finally at the end of my rope, had not slept, was frustrated, and was just like, I just need 4. I don't even need 4. I think I need 3. I need 3 of these green things. Who wants to help me go find the green things? And so I went out with A-Bit Cerberus and a friend of ours from HGP, and we hit 3 different fates in succession, and every single one of them dropped to Demi-Atma. We actually wound up with an extra.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
It was hilarious. So yeah, the whole thing's been, it's been a lot to deal with that whole thing. So, and then of course recently we had another friend that I helped do stuff uh that I was only able to help them for so much, and then they wound up hitting up a bunch of other friends. And it's just one of those things where sadly you just have to kind of like sit down and go, I'm going to do this, and you dedicate a huge amount of time. It is very old school MMO mentality. But to be fair, in the old school MMO mentality, I didn't have a mortgage to pay. So,
True.
um this was yeah. the time dedication, a little much.
A little bit.
Uh, yeah, a little bit. Uh, at least to be fair, once you get past that gate, you get past the Demi Atma gate, then it's relatively smooth sailing from there if you have a crafter or if you just have money. Um or you have a friend who crafts or has money. Then it's fine.
It's
But
fine. It's all fine.
it's all fine. It's all fine here. And then you just have to have all of your tombstones your held hostage for, months and months and months at a time. It's fine. The grind. The grind.
The grind.
I hate it. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, get me wrong, on some level it makes me feel so proud of myself that I have my relics where they're at, but at the same time I'm also not delusional enough not to understand that it fully is luck. It is luck, and I dedicated way too much time in the beginning to getting these things. So yeah, I don't blame anybody for not having them. Anyway, so yeah, I will eventually go back into Occult Crescent. I will eventually find out what's going on in there, but I'm gonna wait until 7.41 when I feel compelled to do so because there's another level of relic that I have to deal with. And until then, it's fine. It's fine sitting right there all by its lonesome. It doesn't need me.
I mean, eventually I'll probably go back in there or whatnot. I've been uh slowly focusing on my crafting
Yeah.
stuff because I have two of the crafters at 100 right now. I'm trying to get everything else to 100, but as opposed to just spreading my time and trying to do everyone all at the same time, I think I'm just gonna focus on one and then go to the next one from there and whatnot. So I'm not trying to try to drive myself going insane and stuff like that. So and sprinkling a little bit of fishing in there as well. So
Ah, yes. Okay, so next we talk about the other layer of crazy that I have apparently, because I have all of my crafters and gatherers at 100, but let's learn about boundaries and limitations today. um, I have found out that when it comes to Final Fantasy XIV, I can either put my time and effort into learning the raids and the raid series and doing all of that stuff and like exploratory zones and all these other things, or or I can care about crafting and gathering. I can't do both. Like I cannot. I'm not a person who like, I know that there are people in our group who are special, talented, amazing, spectacular people. I am not one of them. I am not. I cannot. I do not. I have all of my crafters and gatherers at 100, and I'm gonna be fully honest with you. The whole reason why I got my crafters and gatherers all to the top level, and this started in Endwalker, is
hmm
that I joined at the end of Shadowbringers, and so, like, I was still newbie, didn't really know about what was going on with Shadowbringers yet because I was, like, still in the haze of, "I'm just starting this. I'm still in ARR. I don't know what y'all are talking about. Whatever." Um, so I decided, because I love crafting and gathering. I've always loved the crafting and the gathering part of it. My favorite thing to do in WoW for ages and ages and ages, I always picked up herbology, and I always went around and I was just like me and my little druid self flying through the air, picking flowers, flower picking, picking. Like that's me, and that's how I waste my time, and that's how I spend my existence for the longest time. And then Final Fantasy XIV came along, and you could learn all the crafting and like they didn't limit you. They weren't like, oh no, you only get to be this kind of crafter or this kind of no 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 no. If it's available in the game, you can do it. Just go
Yeah.
do it. Just go do all the things. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is awesome. Except then you learn the trick. And the trick is that they have interwoven all of the crafting and the gathering together.
Yes.
So you sit down and you go, well, I want to do weaving because weaving sounds fun. I'm gonna be a weaver. I'm gonna make some pretty dresses. I'm gonna make some pretty clothes. I'm gonna be that person, right?
Yeah.
And then you sit down and you realize that actually you also need a ton of leather, you need a ton of metal, and you also need like a ton of other specialized things. And then there's stuff that you have to buy from vendors, and then there's other stuff over here. So now you're not only spending tons of money, you're also now traveling all over the place to gather all the things, which to be fair, in the beginning is kind of fun until you realize that you have to go to the market board. And
Mm-hmm.
when you go to the market board and somebody is selling a crafting material, they're like, hey, this is a thing that I can easily make. I can bulk craft it. It doesn't take me really any time to do it. I'm going to put it up on the market board for an absolutely exorbitant amount, and I am going to bankrupt any baby crafter that comes anywhere near this. Have fun.
Yep. Pretty
So,
much.
of course, I'm stubborn and also broke. So, I look at that and I go, "Oh, absolutely not. How do I get this item?" At which point the internet tells me, "Well, you can get this if you go learn leatherworking." And I'm like, "Okay, great. I will go learn leatherworking just so I can make shoes." Okay, so I go learn leatherworking. Well, now I'm invested in the leatherworking story. And beyond the leatherworking story, I'm now able to make all the leatherworking stuff. Great. All right, except now in the leatherworking stuff, I learn I need wood. Why do I need wood? What is the wood for? Why are we doing wood now? All right, fine, great. Okay, fantastic. Let's go get wood. So now I have to go chop down trees, and now I'm a woodworker. Okay, so and everything's just all stacked together in one giant pyramid scheme of crafting and gathering of omni crafterism. And so now I'm sitting here at the top of this pyramid. And here's the thing I want absolutely everyone to be aware of. Crafting and gathering is actually, if you're into that sort of like min maxing mini game stuff and just being able to explore all the zones and gather, it's fun. It is actually a lot of fun, but it's a pyramid scheme. It is, you start one, and then the next thing you know, you have fallen down a rabbit hole of having to start another one. And then you find out you need something else. You start another one. And the next thing you know, you have all of the crafting and all of the gathering. And you're spending all of your time digging rocks out of a cave so that you can make a pretty dress. Um, like this is how they get you. And then there's another layer. Like there's the normal person layer of crafting and gathering in Final Fantasy XIV, which is where you're just like you tripped, you fell, you landed, rolled down the hill of the ADHD crafting and gathering, and now you have all of them. And that's great. You got to your max level. You're like, awesome. Now I can really truly craft crazy awesome stuff. Hold up there, Tex. Let me tell you about this little thing called materia. Let me tell you about how you now have to have top end crafted gear, and you have to have it pentamelded, and oh, now you have to have crafting food and crafting tanks, and it's literally like, okay, so if you ever come across a high end crafter or gatherer, I want you to revere that person with the exact same amount of reverence that you hold in your heart for a legendary ultimate raider. Like, you need to understand that you can actually buy a skip. You can buy a skip. You can start this game start playing it and go, you know what? I don't have time, but I do have money, and I'm going to go ahead and buy myself a level like whatever's the 10 levels below the top at that time. And you can get yourself a lovely little job skip, right?
Hmm.
Still might have to do the
Yeah.
story English, do the story skip too. Hey, you get those things. You can skip those. Guess what you can't skip?
Actual
Crafting and
crafting.
gathering. Yep. Crafting and gathering. Every single person who has their crafters and their gatherers at top level, they did that crap from zero.
Yep.
They did that from the very bottom. They drug their screaming bodies all the way to the top, and they will have their tools in hand shouting their victoriousness until the giant 4 tons weight lands on them, that now they have to figure out how to get timed nodes, how to get um like the appreciation that I have for people who can actually craft on level gear, high quality. Bow down. Bow down.
Right.
Totally. Oh my goodness. I have tried and I have tried, and the amount of oh, okay. So this is completely deviating from what we were talking about with 7.4, but this is how conversations work. So here we go. Oh my god. Okay, so my trauma. And this is not to scare anyone away from crafting and gathering. I want to make that really clear, because to be honest, you can in fact do crafting and gathering and never have to care about the top end stuff, and it's still very cool to do crafting and gathering because you can make a lot of money.
Yes.
You make a
Yeah.
lot of money. You can
Considering some
make
of the prices
so
right.
much gil. And that's just Gil making like basic stuff. Like, you don't have to have like top tier amazing crafters and gatherers. You can just have like, I got up to level whatever top tier and I have okay gear, and I'm just crafting some normal quality stuff that I'm going to put on the market board and still make tons of money from. Like, that's legit. That's 100%. Or I'm just going to do housing items. Housing items you don't have to make high quality. See, you can usually make like crafted housing items. You can sell that stuff for tons of money. It's great. Um, because housing designers aren't always omni crafters. Let me
No.
tell you. Uh, but okay. So, starting in Endwalker, let me tell you my sad tale. So, Endwalker comes about. I get a level 90 battle job. I decide, okay, I'm going to push all my crafters and my gatherers. I'm going to make my own gear. I'm going to do it. I'm going to have my own high quality gear, and I'm going to be amazing. And then I had to pen to build my very first piece of gear to
Oh
be
no.
able to craft that. And I lost 35 materia.
Oh no. Oh no.
I want you to understand, just like as an aside, that's not even like the worst amount of materia that I've lost. Penta melding this gear is I have lost, and here's the thing. Battle gears materia is actually pretty easy to get. Every single time you do roulette, you get turn-ins that allow you to go and get battle materia. Just going through the dungeons that are on level for content, you get materia drops left and right. So battle materia is just, it is free. It is easy. It flows like water. It is not even like mana from the heavens, because it's literally like turn on the tap, get blasted in the face with materia. It's and it's so bad too that people complain about like older dungeons where they started this stuff, where you go through the dungeon and basically the tap for the materia gets turned on and you're just in the face with materia you do not need anymore.
Oh
And so
wow.
you walk out with like all of these giant magic balls, and you're just like, what do I do with it? I'm gonna sell it. I'm gonna sell this to a vendor. This is useless garbage, right? Because it's only useful for the period of time in which you are in that expansion for the most part. Like
Yeah.
there's min maxers that will argue with me, I'm sure, but for the most part, it's only useful for that expansion. But crafting and gathering materia has a very limited amount of ways that you can get crafting and gathering materia. And they are, you can do collectibles and turn them in for scripts, which you can then turn the scripts in for materia. You can, for instance, in cosmic exploration or Ishgardian restoration, you would be able to do certain, gotcha games, or you could turn in certain scripts or things to be able to buy materia. Um but it's the exact same scripts that you would use to buy your minions and your mounts and your dies and your all your other special stuff. So why are you spending it on materia? Because the materia, for at least the time period in which that zone is on level, that's the most important stuff there. Like the minions and the mounts are nice, but they're not going to get you to the point where you can sit down and you can craft high quality raid gear. Just going to let you know. So these are people who are like completely not buying minions, mounts, housing items, cool stuff to decorate their homes with, specifically so that they can buy crafting and gathering materia that will explode in their face trying to stuff it in a piece of gear. The system is um it's a little crazy. It's a little crazy talk. Let me just say. Whoo! I have to this day the most devastating moment of like materia melding I've ever had was I was trying to meld control materia into gear. This is from Endwalker, not recently, but Endwalker. I lost 92 materia.
What?
I have no luck.
That's insane.
So again, if you are someone who is like dedicated to the cause, please do not let this like discourage you from doing so, because it's a lot of fun, and most people have way better luck melting materia than I do. But there there are and there are a lot of advantages to having all of your crafting and gathering at max. Not only do you have access to treasure maps that you can dig up, but you also have tons of like really nice glam gear and stuff like that you can create, uh as well as being able to repair all of your own gear and all your friends. So, yay, there's lots of advantages to it. But yeah, just understand that every single person who is geared with top end gear at high quality, pentamelded for crafting at level 100 has done ultimate level crafting. Okay? So I just want everyone aware of that.
That's
And
crazy.
I'm not on that level. So yeah, respect.
Much respect. I know a couple people in my old FC. They craft all, like they log on and all that's all I see them do is just craft. So it's like, yeah,
Goated. Goated.
much
100%.
respect for everyone there. So
Yeah, so I have recently, and even then, even when I used to spend like way more time, my ADHD is not compatible with hyper focusing on crafting and gathering to that level. So like I can handle, I would say, savage level on level crafting, by the way, is where you can craft the on level glam that's coming out of treasure maps,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Because it does push you to a certain extent, but it's not gonna force you to do it like high quality. Because quite frankly, it doesn't need to be high quality to be a glam. In fact, it's kind of a detriment because it could be a waste of resources or
Yeah.
whatever. But and also it adds like a weird glowy thing that makes it hard for me to see the little dot that it's dyeable or not. So I usually don't bother with my glams being high quality. However, if you were making gear for raiders and you can make high quality gear, oh, that is, yeah, that's ultimate level.
Yep.
And I don't hang on that level.
Not yet.
No, not ever. Like I've been down that road and it's just like I try sometimes, but I don't. No, I can't make myself. Um all right, so moving on from the crafting and gathering. One of the things that has been happening recently, because of course we are heading into fan festivals.
Yay!
As so you have your tickets, right?
Yes.
Oh my god. Yeah, okay. So that was my so smooth way of saying, by the way, if you're going to FanFest in Anaheim this year, you'll get to meet the one, the
Ah,
only Houka.
yay! I'll be there.
Uh,
I recently just purchased my plane ticket, which is
uh,
like because it's either I do it now or that ticket price is
right.
gonna go up
Oh yeah.
drastically.
Oh yeah. I unfortunately live on the literal other side of the country from and it's a big country from Anaheim, and I all of my thoughts, my prayers, my love, my appreciation will go out to all of y'all in the HJP that are going to be hanging it in Anaheim. And hopefully there will be some FaceTimes, and I will get to experience it virtually, provided that the networking holds up.
Providing,
Providing.
considering that the Anaheim Convention Center is literally right across the street from Disneyland.
Oh, I know. I imagine that that pretty much means that like cell service is completely overwhelmed on a regular basis.
I
Um,
I remember going to BlizzCon because they hold it at the Anaheim Convention Center,
right,
and mind you, this was like over 10 years ago at this point.
right.
And like even then, like even back then, like the cell service was actually pretty decent. I'm not sure if like it's just because the amount of cell towers they have there or whatnot, but my internet still worked while I was out there or whatnot. But I'm hoping it's a whole lot better because there's gonna be a lot of people there, so it's gonna
Well,
be
yeah,
interesting.
I mean, yeah, that's the way it works. It being like, yeah, Disney and convention and all of the other stuff. So I'm very much I want to see all the pictures. I hope y'all have an absolutely amazing time. I will go ahead and state that one of the reasons why I have not put more focus into, because the reality of the situation is that yes, of course, if I, move things around and I, worked really hard, I could probably come up with enough money to get over to Anaheim. But I didn't get a ticket, so I don't really have an impetus to do it that way. I know other people were, selling tickets or whatever, but also and this is just from my own experience working conventions and from reading about FanFest the last time it came through. Their treatment of disabled people was not great. So, as a disabled person, who has to rely on mobility tools and mobility and accessibility uh, devices, I don't feel comfortable spending that much money and putting myself in the position of potentially not being able to enjoy myself because the environment and the vibes, as it were, for disabled people are rancid.
Yeah.
um so
No, I understand.
uh,
I understand. And that sort
yeah,
of,
and
and
it
then that sort of sucks. I'm hoping they learn from the last time, because like that, the Vegas Convention Center was very,
yeah,
uh,
it was not good. It was
no,
not good. It was awful. And to be fair, this is a problem with conventions in general. Especially very, very, very large conventions where space is at a premium, where everything is very beholden to uh like advertisers and corporate ideals of things. And the thing about the just an aside about conventions, I don't want to get like too far into it, but conventions in general, just so the people who are going maybe are aware, um yes, Square should have more control. Yes, creative business unit should be verifying that their fan fests and so forth are accessible and, fun and a good time for everyone. But understand that conventions still to this day have a rampant problem with this belief that these are volunteers, and they are very heavily invested in using volunteers who, as a part of their volunteer work, get access to the convention in lieu of pay. So
mm,
because many of them are not getting paid, it is harder to hold them to certain standards. And so that's a problem that we have with certain conventions, like in, that I've been to, that I've worked. One of the things that we run into is we have, like, you have the little layer of actually paid employees of the convention company and the convention center, which is separate from the convention company that's being hosted. And then you have this layer of people who are just volunteers, and volunteers, because they are not technically employees, cannot be held to the same standards of employment because they're not being paid.
yeah,
So just something to be aware of. That's just from my own, like, past experience of working for conventions and stuff like that. Just heads up. Um but I'm really seriously looking forward to all of the announcements, everything we've been getting out of Yoshi P. In, like, he came on for his New Year's, jumping onto materia and answering fan questions. And of course, a lot of fans were just, it was just basically like Santa Claus requests, like, can we get the Ultima horns dyeable, please? And can we get, this item dyeable? And hey, can we do this? And so on and so forth. And of course, his response to all of those were I'll pass that along. Just any kind of requests that you have, put them on the forums. We'll pass them along to the appropriate team. We of course try to, customize the game. And then there were things like, hey, we appreciate that you've made more things dyeable and that you've added more dye channels. Have you considered, perhaps, instead of making us buy a ton of dyes, instead just having like a palette unlock system where we can just have a palette of colors that we can use without having to have like investment of money or whatever. And the response was, yes, actually we are looking into that. And in fact, things that he's mentioned in a lot of interviews lately have been customization options will increase in 8.0. So what kind of things does that conjure up for you, Houka?
A lot. Um, just the fact that if you're gonna give me like a palette system and whatnot, it makes things a whole lot easier. But then that also affects my pocketbook a little bit because I've been selling a lot of dye lately.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah,
So
alright.
it's a double edged sword because on one end I love it, on the other end I don't like it. But
Yeah, like,
no,
okay.
I do understand it though, because like the pricing for a lot of the dice is a little bit ridiculous, and I will PvP the market board just so my items get sold. All right. Uh, in other,
Ah,
but yeah, but no, if they're looking to that, that's great. I absolutely love it. My main concern is like just what parts is going to be dyeable or whatnot, because I do not want to run into a situation where like you give me two choices and one of the choices is a small little button on a shirt.
yeah, I will
What's
agree,
that?
that's been an egregious, like,
What is
yeah,
that?
mm, I have been displeased with that, I will say. It's like, "Oh, what is this whole other dye channel that I'm going to spend something that" I mean, I don't care what it is, whether it's cheap or it's easy to come by or whatever, it's still an item that for the most part you have to spend gil on, which is
Yes.
in-game currency. So every single die you're using is in-game currency, and for it to be a tag, a tag, or a button, or like a tassel, I've
Or
been
a
like, "Are
buckle on
you"
a buckle or something like that on a shirt. It's like, are you kidding me right now? Like the
right?
whole dye channel,
Don't
and
get me
it's just
wrong,
something
don't
so.
if it was something where it was just a palette system, like, I can understand those choices, and I would probably be not necessarily, like, fine with it, but I would be more understanding of it, and I would be like, "Yeah, okay, sure, fine, whatever." But having to spend even 50 gil on a die and it only changed, like, the teeniest, tiniest thing. Ah.
Like I don't like. Don't get me wrong. Like I I spent a lot of time, doing like island century or whatnot, just to buy certain dyes and whatnot, without having to go to the
Yeah,
market board and
yeah.
whatnot. But at the same time, though, it's like if I'm spending all this time just to get this dye to use it on this particular glam and whatnot, don't put it on
Uh-huh.
a button. Don't put it on a buckle. Don't put it on
Can
like
we
the smallest part of it. It's like, what is this?
can we also talk about how, there are dyes that are sold on the cash shop? Like, they're
Yeah,
cash shop dyes. So, we may be looking at dyes where people are legitimately spending real money
exactly.
on these things. This is a little unhinged. Anyway, so, here most of those dyes, though, I all of those dyes, I will say, are available in ga or at least a good deal of them, I think, are available in game one way or the other.
Something like that.
Um, I know that some of them are only very easily available through either Ishcard Restoration or, having to, like, recruit a friend or, like, change data centers and get, chocobo feathers to exchange for jet black dye.
Yeah.
Like, that's a little wild. But no, the thing that excited me it was that he wasn't just talking about like dye channels and glam and stuff like that, but he was actually talking about in 8.0, they may be looking now, this may be me reading into it. This may be copium. I'll fully disclaimer that, but He did say, no, we're looking at updating the character creation system and giving more options for character creation.
Not to the extent of like Black Desert or anything like that, but I'm guessing a little bit more option than what we currently have.
Well, and the thing is that there hasn't really been, other than the addition of more races,
Yeah,
a significant upgrade to the character creation system. I mean, there's of course with the graphics update in 7.0 in Dawn Trail, there has been, increases in like skin textures and lighting and stuff like that. But no, as in the actual options that you get to choose in the character creator, we haven't had a change to that since the game dropped.
yeah, that is true. So,
So I'm gonna put it out there. I'm gonna manifest it and putting it out in there in the universe. Butt slider. I want a butt slider. We get a boob slider. I want a butt slider. Let's go.
or both. Yes, let's
Or
do
both.
that.
I want both. Both. Both.
Give me a butt
Well,
and
I mean,
boob slider.
well, we already have the boob slider, so we just need the butt slider to like balance it all out. This is what we need. But yeah, of course. So that means all of the speculation for 8.0 has been going nuts on the internet. So we'll get into that as it comes out. Honestly, uh to kind of like wrap up this incredibly long and rambling podcast today, I think that 7.4 has been a triumph. I can't wait until 7.41. Um because that's when we're gonna see the new variant dungeon, which I am like so into variant dungeons. I'm the person that pretty much I helped lead a bunch of people through the last few like variant dungeon things that have been a part of like the Mog Tome events and things like that.
Yeah,
Um I love the variant dungeons. I don't love the way that they did Criterion because I just don't have a dedicated team of people who can meet and like go through this stuff and fight through what is essentially like three bosses and a bunch of trash mobs that might as well be bosses. And it's it was don't get me wrong, it's fun, but it would be fun if it was instead just like here's a boss and then here's a boss and then here's a boss, not okay, here's a boss, um you prog through that and then you get hit by trash mobs or you don't walk the right direction and now you have to start everything all over again. Not as much fun. Not as much fun.
yeah,
So I'm looking forward to the changes they're going to make. We're going to get new phantom weapons. I want to see what the models have been superb. They have been beautiful. The particle effects that got added, for the most part, I like them very much. Probably the only beef I have with the entire set really has been the sage weapons. I am foursquare opposed. I know that there are people who will fight me in the comments about that, but I rockets, really rockets. Nope, don't care. Not a sage weapon. Not for me. Uh, um,
but don't we have one that looks like Gatling guns?
that's an ability. Thank you very much for machinist. Although the four square pistol is very weird looking.
Yeah,
I'm
that
I'm
is
not a
true.
fan of that one either. And I also wound up um having beef with the scythe. It's pretty at first, and it's actually kind of cool looking until you look at the way that the particle effect was like added to it, and then you realize that it's inconsistent and it doesn't follow the blade very well, and the blade kind of like bends too far. Anyway, I have weird complaints about it, but yeah, I'm not as big of a fan of it. Um But the rest of the weapons have been gorgeous. I've really, really liked. I created an entire glam around the paladin weapons that included a huge amount of white, which if you have ever seen my goth butt in this game, like walking around with my character, like I'm in all black and purple, and then all of a sudden I showed up in white and purple, and everybody was like, "What happened to Violet?" Um, I was like, I couldn't dye the white parts. That's what happened to me. um, but that was kind of an interesting challenge. I like that. But and I'm also really looking forward to 7.45. Like 7.4 has just been really good all the way around. We're gonna get a lot of like Savage for the Raiders. Apparently, has been awesome. People are still fighting through that one.
Oh
Still
yeah.
trying to prog through all of those, which I am both terrified and excited by. Um, and then getting into we're gonna get new Hildebrand, and then of course new variant dungeons, and then we're gonna get a bunch of like little piecemeal. We'll go into all those details later, but yeah, 2026 looks like it's gonna be an exciting year.
I think so, and I cannot wait. And whatnot. It's been so far. This patch has been so much fun,
Oh
and we
yeah.
already talked about it and everything. So it's been a good time. It's been an excellent time.
And if
And
you want to come play 7.4 with us, then might I suggest you go to heatherjustplay.org and click on the Discord tab, and you'll get an invite to our Discord where you can hang out with me and Houka. And we're online probably more than we should be. And
that's the
we
truth.
love to go and play with you. So if 14 something that you enjoy, come enjoy him with us.
And may all your etherite travels be free.
Yay!